Hey guys, this market update. Happy Bridge Day and Power Plant Day, apparently. We don't know what's going to happen this week or over the next coming weeks, but that doesn't really matter, right? Because these things shouldn't deter your long-term plan. Bitcoin is at its trend. So you want to buy the trend, right? Or not, as the case may be. A lot of people are selling here and they will continue to sell. I get that if you were in earlier, you've made good profits. But if you look at on-chain data, a lot of the individuals that are selling are people that bought previously in this bull and bear market. So you're not actually making that bigger returns. Maybe you're making 50, 60, 70%. There are a lot of people selling who bought here who are capitulating now. This is diabolical behavior, right? You need to think a little bit longer term here because this is a long duration asset. I don't think selling is the best idea. We're at trend. I think you just have to look a little bit longer term, right? So I don't know what's going to happen this week, next week, but typically when assets are at their trend, you tend to buy them, right? Especially at the 200-week moving average. Now, if we extrapolate this out, I think that Bitcoin will grow around 25%-ish. And so this is the extrapolation here. So say 5 years, right? I think you should look at least 10 years, but 5 years, let's say that this trend continues and we're getting to around 200-ish thousand. This may be off, right? This is just my projection. So we could be a bit lower, could be a bit higher even, probably lower, right? So 200-ish thousand. So if you're buying 68,000 up to 200,000, you're looking at around, I think it's like 25% returns annually. Now, if Bitcoin is in a bull market, that may go a lot higher. But in any case, it doesn't have to be in a bull market to make those returns because we're buying the trend. This is a great time to buy. And whilst everyone is uncertain and scared, those are typically the better times to buy. We all know this, right? You just have to actually live this out. And now, when Bitcoin is very high here, this isn't great. If Bitcoin is 200 here, this red box here is where I wanted to sell some if we got there, but we never got there. So 200K here, if you extrapolate that over 5 years and Bitcoin is at its trend, you actually haven't made any money, right? And so that's not a great time to buy it. But here, it's just automatically buying, right? And you don't have to overdo it. You just be consistent, be in the market. Yeah, you're not gonna make massive returns in the next week when there's a war happening, but just think a little bit longer term, right? We're at a decent price here. And that's what I keep telling myself. Selling just doesn't feel like the right thing to do when prices are at the trend, right? So let's see what happens. But the short term, you can't control it. So why even bother to try and get upset about it, right? Bitcoin is at its trend. It's a decent price, may go lower. It's a decent price. That's all you can say. If you do trade Bitcoin and crypto and some good news does happen and we actually pump, that would be pretty good news for everyone short term. Check the link down below to Bybit. If you make a deposit on there as a new user, they'll give you a deposit bonus to trade with all the way up to $30,000. We now have the final boss of FUD, the absolute chef's kiss of FUD, which is quantum computing. This kind of ominous, looming thing that actually no one really knows what it is even, right? Will it even exist? How will it exist? Will it exist in 20 years or 2 years? What's the rate of change? No one really knows. How do we upgrade? It is perfect FUD. It's so uncertain. And I think it's just going to be a cloud upon Bitcoin. That's not to say we can't move up in price. When the price goes down, everyone's going to get really upset about quantum. When the price goes up, people tend to forget about the negative aspects. It's an issue. Bitcoin may have to upgrade in the future. So will everything else. Like military encryption, bank encryption, everything else, right? It all uses encryption. So there's going to have to be a world standard that emerges if necessary. That will happen. Bitcoin will upgrade at some point. And until then, it's just going to be an absolute mess. Typical crypto, just a bunch of people, just arguing and all of this. But look, this is people's money, so they're really upset about it. I think it will upgrade, but it's just one of the biggest kind of ominous looming clouds that is kind of over us right now. So that's it. It doesn't mean we can't move higher over time, right? But it definitely is a FUD that has to get worked out. And I think it will get worked out, but it's going to be a mess in the meantime. But there's a lot going on to integrate Bitcoin into our financial system. And I think it's beyond the point of no return at this point. You're seeing Schwab bring on direct crypto trading. Morgan Stanley have just created their own ETF. They're doing that because they want to sell it out to all of their wealth clients. That's big news. That's all of these amazing things that are happening. No one cares about them. That's a bear market. That's the opportunity. The FUD, the opportunity is, look, it's probably going to get worked out. It's probably going to be a mess. But if you have a long-term time horizon, you just go through these things. But look, banks and crypto firms saying privately deal on market structure reached. This is very good and necessary because we've got the midterms coming up. What's going to happen there, we don't know. But if you have this in law, then you can't get the other side coming in and trying to destroy the market. I mean, the previous admin literally tried to completely destroy crypto, right? If it's in the law, then either side, if they dislike crypto, can't destroy it. This is really important. The more important that it comes, the more likely it is that any upgrades that have to occur and everything else will occur over time, right? Look, for every attack vector, there is a way to defend. It's uncertain, it's great FUD, and you got a long-term view. I don't think it matters too much, but it is kind of the final boss of FUD. Look, the last few weeks, this is what's happened. Gold is fear. Larry Fink, by the way, gets this completely wrong. He just still doesn't get it, the guy. It's crazy. I don't really like that guy, to be honest. He just stuffed us with ESG funds for years, which are the worst performing funds ever. And then he just switched to Bitcoin and calls Bitcoin an asset of fear. Wrong. Gold is fear. That's why it went up before the war, because everyone was fearful of what would happen. And now, as hope returns, that the worst is over, and it may not be, but as hope returns, Bitcoin starts to perform again. Bitcoin is hope, not gold. Bitcoin is hope. Bitcoin is growth. It's a positive way to play things. Gold is negative. Silver and gold down. Everyone was asking me about silver and gold when they were at all-time highs. Now they're down. No one's talking about them. Typical behavior. But people haven't realized yet that ETH and Bitcoin are actually outperforming. Now, energy as well. But look, if things work out, energy is going to go plop way down again. $50 oil. Is that going to happen? We don't know. Is it going to spike again? We don't know. But over time, if you take a long-term time horizon, I wouldn't be bullish the price of energy, right? Because the whole point is we want the cheapest energy possible. Everything we do is in search of cheap energy. We want energy to be down in price, but we want our money to be strong and grow. And we behave like that. And so over time, you will see energy coming down in price. If you look at energy now, let's say oil is $100 a barrel. Well, I remember it being $100 a barrel years ago. That was before we doubled the money supply. So commodities aren't an investment for the long term because we want them as cheap as possible. But our money, that's what we save in. So it's going to outperform, isn't it? So we've had some good outperformance here. The market hasn't clocked on yet. Everyone's still really bearish and stuff. But the wall of worry is being climbed. And by the way, war is really expensive, which means governments have to produce more debt. And more debt is more currency, which acts as a stimulus factor to assets. A lot of the analysis that we're getting is like super scary, but we have to understand that analysts at banks are sell side, which means they're selling something. And what they're selling is they're trying to get eyeballs on their asset classes so their banks can make more volume and make money from it. So they're actually just trying to basically scam you into trading something and being scared so that they can make money. They're sell side, they're selling. They're not buy side trying to buy assets to make money. They're selling, right? So we can't take anything that they say seriously. They're jokes, they're clowns. Right? It was the same with Bitcoin when certain people certain groups just hated Bitcoin. So they looked at Bitcoin energy usage, extrapolated it and said, Bitcoin's going to use all the energy in the universe. It's going to collapse the universe. We're all going to die. No, that didn't happen because any mildly intelligent person knows that technology improves over time. And so you can use less energy for what you want, right? That's the whole point of everything, right? Because they're not analysts that actually want to accurately determine anything. They're just trying to scaremonger or get attention or whatever else because they're sell side, right? We're buy side though, right? So we just have to look through all of that. What none of these people understand is that behavior changes, right? Pricing is a mechanism that can change behavior. When something is very highly priced, like oil and energy now, do you change your behavior? A lot of countries, or some countries in Southeast Asia, I've seen are switching more to coal now for their energy usage, right? Which is going to reduce demand for oil and gas, right? So is it going to go to like $200 a barrel? Look, it could do. We don't know what's going to happen this week. No, don't know what's going to happen, right? But behavior changes when prices change. You can't just extrapolate something and say it's going to go, to 200, right? So we're buy side. We actually have to make intelligent decisions rather than all this sell side stuff, which is just noise and it's fake and it's just trying to drum up scared people to trade the asset classes that they're making money from. Look, as an investor, you can't invest in commodities. Commodities have spikes, but our behavior is to try and reduce the cost of commodities at all points. None of us want high energy prices. We don't want those things to go up in value. $100 oil today, I remember oil trading at $100 many years ago. It's not the same $100, okay? The money supply has more than doubled since then. So $100 now is like $50 back then. So it's actually cheaper, right? Inflation adjusted. So we want commodities to be as cheap as possible. We don't want those things going up in value, and our behavior will change to make sure that those things are as cheap as possible. That's different than money though, isn't it? Because we all want our money to go up. And that's the problem with property, is that you have people that don't have it that want it to be as cheap as possible, but people that do have it have their value in it and want the price to go up. So you've got this issue. And that's the issue with property, right? So you've got this fight. Bitcoin can go up. Who wants the price to go down, right? Everyone, that's my money, Bitcoin, we want it to go up. So it will go up because it's our behavior and that's what we want. And it's not a commodity, it's actually a scarcity. You can't print more of it. So look, global growth marked down by 40 basis points, inflation up by 90 basis points. Yes, potentially, but behavior will change and we'll figure something out. Australia and France, I saw, are actually starting to extend small business loans potentially to some businesses. That is not great, right? Because what you've got then is an increase in currency with a shortage in energy, which creates price inflation. It's the worst of all worlds. But remember, they will never let deflation happen, right? Ever. That's even worse than inflation. So that's maybe why Bitcoin is starting to outperform here, because reactions happen. Commodities are highly priced. People will change their behavior to use something else if they can. And high energy prices are actually potentially deflationary, right? You get a recession because high energy feeds into the price of everything else. And if there's no more money to chase, people cut back and etc. So these some countries are actually starting to print money into a commodity shortage, which is not good. And for the best of everyone, what we would want to happen is for things to settle down into the Middle East and for oil to come down. That'd be a great scenario. But if it doesn't happen, what you're going to get is just governments printing money, causing inflation, which is potentially what Bitcoin is sniffing out. The US, I think, is by far and away the strongest country in this mess, like by far and away. They're a huge energy exporter, especially gas. People are buying more from the US, and high energy prices, yes, but you're making much higher profits from your oil and gas sector. You're also just very strong. You have a lot of domestic production, lower energy costs overall, and trade flows are changing, right? Because you can't buy as much out of the Middle East. Well, who's the biggest exporter in the world? It's the US. The US is in a pretty strong position here, and a lot of other countries aren't. And that's just the way it is. Tax refunds running 11% ahead. They're pretty good for the US economy, I think, or certainly for inflation and having money around. Look, China is moving to resume large-scale purchases of United States LNG. That's one way to sort out the trade balance, which they've been trying to do, isn't it? Look, US is in a strong position here because they're the world's biggest exporter of oil and gas during a shortage. Let's hope that things settle down and move on for everyone's sake. But if they don't expect Bitcoin to go down, because these countries that can print dollars or their own currency to buy the scarce resource are going to do so. And that's going to create some inflation and it's going to create currency debasement, because what they don't want is a recession, because that's even worse, actually. So let's see how it goes. Let's hope for everyone's sake that this just calms down and you can get low energy prices, and that can create good forward outlooks for GDP, and Bitcoin's going to like that. In any case, if inflation happens and currency debasement happens to prevent recessions in those countries as well, you'll get some chop, but ultimately currency debasement into the scarcest asset in the world. We know the long term on this one, right? If you do trade Bitcoin, crypto, TradFi assets, you can trade them all on Bybit. Link to a deposit bonus down in the description below if you're a new user. I'm James of Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.